So, welcome everyone. Welcome back again to our live session that is going on. Today, we'll be talking about once again the API fundamentals, and this session will be full of fun. And I hope you will get some knowledge and you will take away some key knowledge with you. And after this workshop, I can expect that everyone who is watching this workshop will be able to understand and teach someone all about APIs, its fundamental stuffs, the requests and responses, and many more. So let's start it. Something about me. So I am Kumar Kalyan. I'm Postman student leader. You can follow me up here at Twitter. This is my Twitter ID, right? So, and today I will be teaching you about the fundamentals of API. Now you have been hired in a librarian. Let's understand it to make this event, to take this event in a more fun way. Let's consider that we are on a mission, and the mission is that you are hired as a librarian at a library that uses an API to manage their books. And now you're going to learn how to use APIs in order to complete your day at work. It's very much simple. All of us, all of us must have visited libraries, right? My college also have a library where if we ask for a book, the librarian quickly checks the server. Actually, what it does, it adds a book on my name that I am renting that book or I'm taking away that book for a particular period of time, and it updates all my data, my roll numbers, my key data values to the server, updating, and then it after updating that or creating a resource in the library server, it gives me back the book, right? So similarly, we will learn how to become a librarian for a day. So let's begin. What we'll learn today, we will learn about APIs, we will learn about servers and clients, we will learn about making HTTP requests to an API. HTTP means Hypertext Transmission Protocol. I hope all of you know that. And we will learn about query parameters. Like I will be talking about them too, right? All this term mentioned here, we all know about them. Just we know them with a different name, right? We will be learning how to submit data to APIs, and we'll be understanding the API responses. Right, these are the sort of agendas, or what we call agendas, or these are the uh, index of today's lecture, right? Let's quickly move back. So this is the agenda for today. So it is like we will learn about APIs, we'll learn about how you can use Postman to build and design your APIs, and we will be learning about requests and responses. We will be trying out new things, and then we have a QA session and a follow-up resources. Right, what you can go for and how you can take these things move forward. Talking about what is an API and why should you use one. So APIs, or what we call it as application programming interfaces, in the field of computer science allows our services to communicate with each other, just like a telephone call. Let me give you an example. Suppose what you do now, if you want a pizza from Domino's, what do? You can simply order it using the Domino's app, or you can simply grab your phone. You will dial a number to the Domino's store, and then you will order for your pizza. And then after your order is prepared, a delivery boy comes to your doorstep, he rings the bell, you get your pizza or your order, anything. Just like that. It's a way of communication with the server and client, right? That's talking about how that APIs help developers to integrate existing features without working on everything from scratch, right? This is very much simple terms. Suppose you want to build an application, right? Maybe for your startup or maybe for your school project, and you want to add an authentication feature. So to implement an authentication feature, you don't need to build an authentication system from scratch. That to more secure one. You can simply grab any one API, like any of them. My favorite is Auth0, or you can grab super tokens and you can integrate the API simply. So all I want to explain you is that someone else has written the code for the authentication and authorization, and you are just integrating it with the help of an API, right? Next thing is APIs allow enterprises to open up their product features for faster innovation, right? So as simple as it is, just like if you are building a Zomato clone, or if you are building an Uber clone, or if you want to build your own map application or a travel advisor, what you can do, if you need a map application, you don't need to build it from scratch. You can simply grab the Google Maps API, and it's free. Okay, so it's free, and you can send a request as per your need. You can define the query parameters and all those wonderful things we're going to learn about in this upcoming session, right? So to make you understand these things more deeply, let's take an example of a digital restaurant, right? We all love restaurants. We all must have visited once in a life. And don't lie to me. Everyone has visited a restaurant, right? And I frequently visit them. Okay, just kidding. So, all I want to say that, so consider and imagine a scenario of that you are present in a digital restaurant, right? So, there, at least you will find these three people. One is the waiter, one is you, and the third one is the kitchen or the chef. And now, with the help of these animations that, sorry, I have not made them, Postman made them. So, okay. So with the help of these animations, we're going to learn how these things works and what are the architecture of an APIs. So if I compare this with an API and a server, that is you are the client or the application or your desktop, the waiter is the API or the medium of communication between you and the kitchen or the chef. Because if you think logically, at the end of the day, your order is being prepared by a chef, not by the waiter. He is just giving and passing you the order or passing you the bill, right? And the server is the kitchen from where you grab your order. Just like if you take an example of searching something from google.com, what it happens, you just send a request to the google.com saying, hey, hello, Google, can you uh, get me the list of Marvel stars? Or hey, hello, Google, uh, can you get me the list of top hotels or top destination places over the world? So what this API does, or what this waiter is doing here, he is the medium of communication between the client and server, or the user, simply, in other words, the user or the chef. So if you are the client, then your chef is the server. Similarly, if you book a cab, and then you go for a ride, your driver is the server, right? And the API is the Uber. Similarly, and you are the client. Now everything has an API, right? There is an API for everything. There is a cat API. There is an open weather API map. There is a Genius API. There is a YouTube for Discord API for Discord. YouTube MP3 API, Twitter APIs, Spotify APIs, Google APIs, and so many more. Now, let me share you some cool facts about why do we need APIs and what we can do with them. Suppose, take an example, you own a Discord channel, right? You own a Discord channel and you are a programmer too. So, now you had a feeling that to entertain everyone, to entertain everyone in my channel or in my community or in your community, you decided that you'll create a Discord bot which will post a cat GIF, right? Which will post a cat GIF on every messages which contains or which gets smileys, right? So the thing is very simple. What you can do? Think about it. Let me give you 5 seconds. Come on, say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So this thing is very much simple. What you can do? You can grab this cat API, right? And you can also you have to also grab the Discord API, and you can create a logic at the back end, right? And create a Discord bot which will automatically send a request to cat API whenever it gets a message with most of the smileys, and it will send a request to the cat API. Then the cat API will send a response to it, and then the Discord bot will automatically post a cat GIF. See how cool is it? Or if you simply say YouTube to MP3 API, what it does? Now don't lie me, right? Sometimes there are some sort of premium songs that we want to download. Okay, but YouTube has them as in video format, but we don't have them in uh, so audio format. So I have used it a lot of times. So I used the YouTube to API MP3 converter, and it converted me very easily the video data to an MP3 file. Similarly, we use Google, we use Facebook, we use Twitter, we use Spotify in our day-to-day life, and every one of them has an API. Now there it comes working with APIs then and now. Right, and why do we need a Postman? See, first thing I would like to mention is that I'm not here to promote Postman. Right. It's okay that I'm using Postman because it is one of the most used and most productive, the best, maybe, yes, the best. Okay. Tool that we use to develop API. You can go for designing, testing, developing, creating, breaking, and a lot of things. You can do a lot of things with Postman. So if you're planning to build your next API, make sure to go for Postman. So all I'm doing here, I just want you to become an API literate. Okay. So working with APIs then and now, what's the difference? Why do we need a Postman? Why do we need a tool like Postman? Right. Earlier, what we used to do, we used to use curl command line, right? Curl command line to send a request to our API, or whenever you used to design, we used to design an API, and the process is very much pathetic. Believe me, I have tried it. It's very much pathetic. Very much pathetic. Right. I used to get stuck like what was happening in that server. Now there are certain reasons. Like number one is in the command line, you won't get this wonderful and beautiful EP UI, right? This easy to implement things. Like if you want to send a request to a server, right? You have to specify writing commands, you have to specify a lot of things. You have to retype the API URL a lot of times. Then you have to send a request. But in Postman, you don't need to care about this sort of things. It has a wonderful UI, better community support, and wonderful documentation. That if you want to send a GET request, you can simply select a GET request and just enter the URL in the dialog box and hit a send request, and it will give you an awesome UI. Believe me, awesome UI with a raw format, pretty format, with a visualized format, and even the HTML format that we won't used to get, we don't used to get used in the curl command line, right? So these are the sort of things which makes the Postman great. Even you can add test cases to your API directly from Postman that curl promo command line doesn't provide. One more thing is that you can even write documentation. Like suppose you are building a cat API, say a memes API which generates the memes. You can simply design the workflow, add test, and even write and create an amazing documentation, right, with the Postman, right? That call command line won't provide you. So Postman wins as usual. That's why I'm promoting it. Okay. Now, what is Postman and who uses it? So Postman is a collaborative API development platform that simplifies creating, using, and testing APIs with an UI. Now, one thing is not present here. You can also design the documentation for your APIs, and more than 500,000 it's written here. But let me tell you a secret. No one gonna tell you. It's more than 100,000 of the organizations use Postman, and it's not more than 13 million developers. It's used by more than 20 million developers, right, and active users on Postman. I think last in the month of February, the CEO tweeted. So everyone uses Postman. Why shouldn't you use? So even Google also uses Postman. We don't have a Google image here, but Google also uses Postman. So yeah. Now talking about request and response. Now, a few slides back, I have given you an example of how the APIs work, right? The digital restaurant, right? I've shown you that you are the client and the waiter is the API and the kitchen or the chef is your server. Now the API, how it works, it works upon request and response. Just like that, while you are ordering something to an API or the waiter, you are actually passing a request. Like say, hey, can you please give me a cheese pizza? Now what the API does, it passes the request or passes your request to the server. That is, in this case, the chef of the kitchen. That hello, chef, or hey chef, or hey server, we have a request for you that one of our customers or one of our clients wants a cheese pizza. Now what it does, after a certain period of time, or what you can say here, a computation, you get a response. That is, in this case, you get the pizza from the kitchen that is brought to you by the waiter. Nice, very much easy to understand. Let's take another example. While you go for malls, right? If you have ever visited a mall, what you does? What you do? You grab your things like any sort of say groceries. That is, or you visit to a store, right? A grocery store. You ask the shopkeeper that, hey, can you give me some sort of say biscuits or noodles? What it does, it moves forward your request to a small boy in every Indian grocery stores. You must have often have seen them, and he brings all your orders, and then he passes it to you. So all I want to explain is that whenever you're gonna pass a request, you will definitely get a response. Similarly, like let me take it in a more fun way. Like if you hit your best friend, if you slap your best friend, you're gonna get a response. Believe me, don't try it out, or you can even try it out. I'm just a hypothetical taking a hypothetical situation to make you understand this sort of things. So if you slap your best friend, he will either slap you, or he will cry, or he will break the friendship between you, both of you. So what is happening here? Whenever you are passing a request to an API, similarly, like if you search something in Google and Google does not have the answer for it, like if you yes, I'm saying that Google has some documents that never exist in Google. Like if you type hijibiji at Google, Google gonna send you a response that sorry, we don't have any such of documents. So yeah, Google also doesn't have all sort of things. Just like that. Now to make it more clear, let's look upon this UI. What I'm doing here, or I'm showing here that a client and an API. This network is the API. Okay, this network, what we call is the internet that we use to connect to a server. And here is the API and the server where we have it. We are passing a request to the API over an internet or the server, and you are receiving a response, right? These are the sort of resource service. So we'll get deeply into it for the upcoming sessions. For now, let's go for move for requests. So anatomy of a request. Let me tell you about this term anatomy. If someone of you want to become a doctor, so you must have heard about these things, right? It's the study of anatomy is the study of bones. Similarly, anatomy of a request is the study of uh, the uh, different things that are associated with an API. Maybe the method, maybe the endpoint or the path variable, maybe the parameters, maybe the headers and the bodies. So these are the 5 points that you need to know about a request and what it contains, right? What a request contains. So if you go for google.com, what it happens, or if you type or search something on google.com, you must have seen this URL www.google.com/search. Then a dialog box opens, then you type your search results. Here, this www.google.com is the URL, right? And we are passing here a get request using Postman that give me something, retrieve information, right? Talking about methods, get stands for retrieve some information or asking for something. Post stands for sending an information. Now, please rewind yourself a few minutes back. I have just given you the example of a digital restaurant. What we are doing while the waiter brings you these things, while the waiter brings you your order, that is a pizza, that means you are sending a get request. Similarly, if you take an example of a post request, what it happens, you must have uploaded some sort of information, your pics, your videos, your reels, your shorts to different social media platforms. What you are doing, you're actually posting information or sending information to the server. Put or patch, what it stands for updating your information. Just like if you're using Instagram and you have uploaded a post, now you thought you had a nice feeling, oh, my caption is so lame, let's change it. So you can simply change it, and what it happens that you can't see, that is you are actually updating your request through an API using the Instagram API, right? You use the client side, so you are not aware of what is happening in the bare side, but you are actually updating your data in the server. Or a deleting request, similarly, it's very much easier. Deleting your tweets, deleting your post, deleting your profile, delete your Instagram, delete yourself, man. Just like deleting every single request. So yeah, that's nice. This is what we call the methods. We basically use these 4 types of methods. There are other methods too. You can, if you start using Postman, you will see them. But as a beginner, just know about these 4 types of requests. First one is the get, second one is the post, third one is the put or patch, and the fourth one is delete. Now, if you see the address of the host, right, what is happening here is HTTPS is the protocol or the scheme of the request. That what type of request is it? It is the scheme is hypertext transmission protocol secured, right? Secured. Few years back, you used to use HTTP, which stands for hypertext transmission protocol, and it was not secured. Now we use secured version. Then we have the address of the host of the server. What we call is www stands for World Wide Web.google.com. Then we use the path, that where in which chamber you're gonna get. So imagine if Google was an office, if Google was in government office, or if Google was in sort of shopping mall, so you have to go to the search store, or you have to go, or you have to visit to the office or the room where the searching facilities work, or the searching thing works, the searching happenings. So similarly, you have to visit this path, this search path, and then you're gonna pass your request. Just like you must have visited to malls, right? You have to, you can't buy a shirt or a amazing hoodie at an ice cream store, you must have to visit a clothing store, right? So similarly, if you want to search something from Google, so you have to visit the search path. Now request parameters. Okay, parameters. Parameters are very much nice. So let me tell you about something. So this is some sort of very much interesting thing. Let's understand it with a fun time way. So now suppose you have visited to google.com/search. Now you have to enter something. You have to enter something that I want to search about cats. I want to search about nature. I have to search about this sort of things. So we are passing queries. What we are doing, we are passing queries to the server that, hey Google, or in other words, in more professional way, hey Google server, can you give me some information about cats? Or can you give me some information about nature with an orientation of landscape? So with this orientation equals to landscape, we are adding some extra details. So this queries, or this is our queries, are basically the details or the information that we want, right? And these queries are important to sort or filter our data in the more appropriate way that we want to receive, right? Next, it comes the path variables. It's very similar and very often. It's like dynamic element of path often have an ID value, just like if you search your profile or GitHub profile or Twitter profile or maybe Instagram profile, you're gonna see that instagram.com/en slash blah blah blah. No, my profile is not blah blah blah. You can check it on the YouTube description. I have added my links. You can follow me there. Similarly in GitHub, you're gonna see https://www.github.com/ blah blah blah. Oh, it's kum9748 here. Or https://twitter.com/Kumar Kalyan underscore. So this is a sort of ID. It can be a mixture of characters, it can be a mixture of numbers, it can be anything. So these are dynamic path variables that we often use to filter out data and figure out data. We're going to see it in the hands-on session. Then we call what we call, I was talking about this request headers or metadata. So what are metadatas? Metadatas. It is the sort of things, right? It contains a lot of things, a lot of information like the authorization. Right? Authorization is an important topic. I'm gonna take a session on authorization in near future. But for now, let's understand it with simple English. So authorization is nothing but a scheme, some or a protocol. What do we call it? So like in simple words, like you don't want your account to be accessed by me. You don't want your account to be accessed by your dad. So similarly, in every site, there is an authorization scheme. Like if you want to sign up to your account, you want to access your account, you need to enter a password. You need to enter your username. So this request also contains our request header like that. Hey, is this a request from Kumar? How gonna Google gonna recognize that? So if I have logged into my Google account and if I'm searching on Google, then Google gonna understand, say that Kumar Kalyan having an ID blah 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 is searching for this blah 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 term. So authorization and authentication is needed. Cookies are a little bit complex topic, but let me explain you in a few words. Is that cookies are the sort of metadata. Cookie is not that cookie that we eat. Okay, I love also cookies, but these cookies are stored in your browser, which helps the server, the helps the API to understand the behavior, like that you have logged in or you have access to the server has access to your browser in some way or other metadata, your search features. And most of the websites have access to your cookies so that they can improve their content. And a lot of times, then we have a content type, which is a type of image, maybe it a type of string, maybe it a type of HTML file, a lot of, or maybe it a type of PDF file, a lot of things. And there is an accept and a user agent. And these are the sort of things, it's a little bit complex topic. I'm not going to deeper into it, just to understand that these are the sort of things that an API commonly has, or a request has. Then we come to request body. Now, as I mentioned you earlier, put and post. Now, every time you pass a request, you get a response, right? So, in some cases, like the put and post request means put means you're sending some information to the server. I'm sorry. Post means you're sending some information to the server. Put means you are updating your existing information from a server. So, you need to pass something. Now, like if I explain you this in simple words, like computers only understand a language consist of zero and ones. Similarly, APIs also understands JSON, which stands for JavaScript Object Notation, or in text format, or in HTML files, or in graphical files, any type. It depends upon server to server. So these are the sort of the way we pass the data to our server. Like you must have seen that if you send some sort of information about your profile information, your profile picture, your name, your birth date, your Facebook account or your Meta account, it actually passes the data in form of JSON. Okay. So similarly, we need this sort of things. What we call it collaboratively. This all this information collaboratively as request body. Now there it comes anatomy of responses. Now we have received or we have gotten clear idea about what are requests. Now let's study about responses. Okay, responses and status codes. Okay, now let's understand. So, hey everyone, sorry for the network interruption. So, I think we are live again. Extremely sorry for the network interruption. I don't know what happened. Okay, come on, let's begin. So, I was talking about responses and status codes. So, what is happens is I was talking about status codes. So status codes are basically the codes or a secret code which helps us understand that what kind of response we are getting. Right? If you are getting a success code, so there are a lot of codes like 2O, which stands for okay, like just like you're sending a successful request to a server. So it's gonna return you a 2O, which means okay, my status for this response is okay. You got 201, which understands and makes me that yes, I have created a content. You get a 204, that is we are passing something and we are not receiving anything on response, right? Any sort of content, which means no content. Similarly, redirect, like suppose if you are being redirected to some another URL, you are getting a status of 301 or 304 not modified. Like just like if you upload say something you are uploading to a server and the content is not modified just because of the network interruption. Just now what happened to me. So yeah, you can use this also. They're not modified at 304. Then it comes the client error, that is 404. Must have seen, right? 40, which stands for bad request. 401, which stands for unauthorized. 403 stands for forbidden, and 404 stands for not found. Now I'm talking about 404 or 40. That doesn't mean it's O. It's 0 or 400. You can say 401. It's 401. So or 403 or 403 is forbidden, or 404, which means not found. You must have seen this before, right? Anyone have? All of you must have seen this before. Then there it comes the server error. our internal server error, which we send 50 or 501. We're gonna have 502. We're gonna have for bad gateway. We have 503 for service unavailable, and we have 504 for gateway timeout. So now there it comes, the library API training. We're gonna try out an API using Postman. So let me just quickly open my screen and let's see what we can do. So just visit postman.com. It's free of cost. Okay. You're gonna visit postman.com. Oh, I have already signed up. Now I do have one thing in my, I have already forked this collection. I'll be adding this link in the description of the link. Okay, let me add it. I think that would be more better so that you guys can understand. Uh, so if I add up here, say fork collection, paste it here, save it here. Uh-huh. Now you can fork this collection. Okay. So I am forking, I'm reforking this collection. Before, let me just one second. Let me delete this. Yeah. So you can simply click on this link, and this will be, you will be redirected to a workspace in Postman. Now you have to grab this three dots and then hit on this create on fork. Select your workspace. You can create one or you can search one. I will be using my own one. So API. Oh, let's give it a fun time. Say API fundamentals. Right. You can go for fork collection, create a fork. So we have it here. Right. You can even check out the documentation here. See, I stated you can even edit this documentation. So that is the magic of Postman, that you can do any sort of things with this. Like if I change it, like if I change this to bold, say I can do, I love to do this fun and crazy stuff. So say H1. Okay, it's changed to H1. Nice. So yeah, you can do a lot of fun stuff with it. So here we get an collaborating down. I will be teaching you that too, that how to create documentation for your API just using Postman. That's amazing. You have these resources here. If you follow along with this guide, this documentation, I'm going to show you once again. What you can do, just select on here and just bring your cursor here, move your cursor here. You're going to get this documentation, right? We also have a lesson video, or we have a slides. This is created by someone. Okay. Our student community manager, Ali. He is a great teacher. Okay. So now if we go for this library reference, we're gonna go for this. You check out this. If you open this one and then just bring it back, you have this documentation here. It looks nice. So this is our base URL. You're gonna simply copy this out, right? And this is the something sort of like we will be focusing upon get request. So now we have already fixed it up with the base URL. I will be teaching you that how to set up and figure out this sort of things. But for now, if you have forked this collection, the base URL has already been set. So just check out the documentation here once again. So yeah, nice. Okay, nice. Yeah, these are the sort of collections. Okay. So if I send, that is the base URL, this is the base URL. What it means, this base URL is basically this one. https:/postman library api.glitch.me/books. So if I go for send, you see, you get a wonderful. If you click on visualize, no visualize. If you go for preview, you get for raw data. That too using Postman, right? So you get a list of all the books that we have stored in our server. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it nice? Now, what I was talking about this query params, you can take this out that if I select on this query params, you see you get a question mark here. The query parameter is search, which equals Forge. So what I'm doing, I'm telling the server that, see, the author name here is written a search string and the author of the title is equivalent to Forge. Now I'm gonna show you something interesting. Try out this thing. You are a developer, right? Learn to play with your terms. Now, if I change it, say board, and select it upon here, see, this will return me board. Isn't it cool? Isn't it amazing? Try out these things. Okay. And then we have this checked out. That is checked out is false. That is if what I'm asking to the server is that return me the books which have a checked out equals to false. So this will return me a lot of books. See, a lot of books. Now, if I change it to true, change it to true, what it happens it is now returning me a lot of things. Now, if I add this and this, see nothing I'm getting, but a status is to O. So if I change it to say BORGE and sendings, yeah. So in this way, what I wanted to explain is that in this way you can add a lot of more than one query parameters too. Depends upon something. So if I now select it to general fiction, I'm getting this one, right? But if I remove this, amazing. See, this is the beauty of Postman. Now let me tell you once again, I'm saying you that I'm not promoting Postman. Postman does not needs to be promoted because it's already famous in all the developers over the world. More than 20 million developers use this, right? All I want to say you is the beauty of Postman. See, if I were testing these things with a call request, this thing would be really very much messy. So this is the beauty of Postman. I can simply click on request. I can simply pass here these values, the wonderful UI, the wonderful documentation, a lot of things. Okay. So now we have sent a get request. Again, we'll be sending a get request. Now this time what we are doing, we are passing an ID. We are passing an ID. Say this one. So if I hit on send request, what I'm doing, I'm passing this ID. So what does it do? What is it doing? It is returning me the book having this ID, this one. Now, if you have an amazing mind like me, or if you want to test out a lot of things, you can simply grab any one book from here, book ID, say this one. What is it? CR2. So copy it out. What you're gonna do is just paste it here, paste it. See, you're gonna get that book. CR2. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing? And in the similar way, you can similarly edit it. Simply edit this. Save. Okay. What to edit this? Okay. Path variables. Isn't it? Oh, you have to hit on send button. Sorry. You have to hit on save button. Not here. Okay. You have to hit on save button. See, this is also updated. This is the beauty of Postman. If I change it to say Kumar, if I hit on the save button, see the ID is changed to Kumar. But our ID was this one. So Z it. So if I hit on save button, this is how amazing is while you develop your APIs. Now let's try out something else. Now let's try out this sort of let's post or let's add a book. So I was, you can remember this. I was talking about this one that we need to pass data to our server, right? Where is the doc? See this one in form of JSON or in form of text or in form of HTML. What we can do it on here at Postman, you can, this one? No, this one. Yeah. You can check this out here. So select on the post request, then go for this body tab, which stands for request.body. That is something that we want to pass. And then if I change it to say the memer's den, then the author is say amazing K. Okay, this is JSON data, right? This is JSON data, stands for JavaScript Object Notation. Say amazing K, and published. Say just now, what is the date today? 2022. Hit a send request. See, we are receiving a message. Okay, we are receiving a message. Okay, now let's check this out. Head over here, send a request. Now, can anyone tell me how to figure out which one my book, which one is my book? Anyone? Think of 5 minutes, 5 seconds. I'm gonna give you 5 seconds. Say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is similarly very much easy. You're gonna click on the search of the operator, and then you're gonna pass it. Okay, hit and send. See, see. Now if I change it to say amazing K, then see, this is the best way. So this is why we need query parameters or query variables, right? Whenever we search something at Google, so we need it. Okay. So now let's add another thing. Say something called say amazing key. Another book. Say the funny coder. Okay. Now hit on the send button. See, we are again receiving a 201 created. I was talking about the status codes. 201, that means created. Okay. So again, if you sit down, send on hit button, you're gonna see Amazing K has written two books. One is the Memers Den, one is the Funny Coder, written by Amazing K, and that's nice. Now, now. See, if I go for this one and put the ID, enter the ID about my book, it's Amazing K, you're gonna get this book. Okay. Where is it? It was, see, paste it here. See, now you are receiving this book, The Funny Coder by Amazing K. Okay, this is exactly what I was talking here in this slide. Okay, this idea. Why do we need a path variables and why do we need a query parameters? Okay, I hope now you are able to understand why do we need these sort of things. Now let's move on to updating a data. So what I told you here in this slide, how we update our data, where it was using a put or patch request. We can use the put or patch request to update our data. Hey, let me tell you one thing. I haven't read this one, this below thing. I have made this on my way. So credit goes to me. Maybe Postman has defined this slide, but I haven't checked out what they have written in there in this down slide. Okay. So if you love this session, just clap for me or follow me out on Twitter or give a shout out to me on Twitter. Okay. Nice. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna pass here our ID. That was our ID. Now again, we're gonna send something. So checked out to true. We're gonna change this thing, this checked out, which was earlier false. We can change it to checked out to true. If I send hit on send, see we are receiving a 2O. That means our request was success. See if you hit upon this, you're gonna get an amazing documentation. Now in curl, you know won't get this sort of things. All right. So now if I get a get request on our book, filter it by our ID. Now you're gonna see that it's checked out to true again. Let's change something else. Let's now change the title of the book to the funny coder to say something, say title equals the funny coder K. Return send. Message okay. Now if I again send a get request here, see now the name is changed to from funny coder K, like it was earlier it was funny coder, now it is funny coder K. So it's amazing. Now we have learned about get post food. Now it's time to delete it. Yeah, I know, but we have to delete it. Okay, what are we gonna go for? We gonna simply paste our ID here, here. You can check out the documentation too. See, this is the full URL slash ID. Let me make it a little bit big. So if I hit on send button, see message okay. That means our status is deleted. Now if you search for this book here, see you get a 404 error, which means that the book with the ID this not find or not found. See, you are getting us 200. Okay. So this was all about today's session. Feel free to ask me questions on Twitter. I'll be posting a blog very soon so that you can get to understand these things more wisely. So yeah, follow me. Now wait. Don't go anywhere. I have something else for you. Where it was. So you can continue learning about APIs, right? As a student expert certification indicates that you are a proficient in essential skills and one in building and testing your APIs. Okay, APIs, requests, right? Basic test scripts, how to test right add test scripts on API. I will be showing you that too. Okay, running collections, passing data between request and response, scripting and request and execution order. You will have an option to become a student leader just like me in your community. Now, why you want to become a leader, you will be recognized as a community leader. That's nice. You will be organizing conferences like me. You're gonna get shout outs. So make sure you join the student program and feel free to ask me out if you need any sort of help. How to become a student expert? It's a little bit complicated, but I am pretty much sure you're gonna clear this out. And if you get stuck at any point, feel free to ask me a question or any other student leaders present in the Discord server. Right, we are always ready to help you out. Right, we are there, and you can poke this collection, or you can go for here to apply for a student expert. Bye. And one more thing I would like to share is that I can't see here any sort of questions that you guys are asking me. So yeah, what you can do is that give us a feedback, right? Join our uh, make sure you join our Discord. Make sure you join our. So one more thing I would like to check you out, help you out is that here here you're gonna see a URL, say bio.link slash hackbeats. This is my community where you can join. You can join, hit on the Discord button. You can give us a feedback about today's things, what has happened, what went well today. This is the sort of things. An amazing newsletter, you're gonna get it. And make sure to check out the documentation here. Okay, you can connect with us on Twitter. It's CIT Kolkata. You can connect with us on Instagram. You can make sure you join our Discord server if you want to stay connected with me. This is our YouTube channel, and feel free to subscribe to this channel if you want to get updates for the future events. Make sure you hit the bell icon. Okay, this is a community work I'm not doing for myself. Okay, I'm just happy. I feel a lot of contentment to help you guys out, and I truly believe that if I share my knowledge, my knowledge will be increased a bit a lot more. So, so stay tuned for the next one. Bye bye, 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 and bye.